It was all good just a week ago, but then something changed. Now she seems a bit distant. When you guys are apart, she no longer sends these cute text messages checking in on you. And when you're together, it feels like she's a bit withdrawn, like she's less excited to see you. No warm hug when you walk through the door. No playful kiss on the cheek when you guys are sharing a laugh. She's not holding your hand so much anymore. And the sex?
Ugh, I'm not in the mood tonight.
And maybe, just maybe, it's all in your head. But deep down, you know that there's been a shift. She was all in on you, or at least you thought that she was. And now, it's like the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking down until it's all over. There's no pain in life that is quite as deep as when you want someone and they don't want you back. And that is why in this video, we're gonna take a look at the top 4 reasons that girls lose interest, so that in your next relationship, you can be prepared to lead it like a man, so that she's the one chasing you, even after years of being together. Reason 1, she was never bought in. So you know how it kind of sucks to feel lonely? Like, if you're single, it's very easy to romanticize the idea of having a girlfriend. Back when I was alone and hopeless, I just knew that if I could have a girlfriend, someone to come home to, it would make my life so much better. Well, ready? For women, it's even worse. Because women, even more so than men, feel pressured by their friends and family to have a man. And maybe this is a little bit diminished in 2024 with the feminist narratives, but let's be real. It's a woman's worst nightmare to get to like 35 years old and not have a man. And now she's going to die as this lonely, single cat lady. And this means you have to accept the harsh reality that there's a lot of women who are dating their man, not because they're deeply in love with him, but because they're afraid of being alone. Now, I want you to picture the most recent girl that lost interest in you. And this is depressing to consider, but maybe, just maybe, the reason she agreed to go out with you is because her life would feel a little bit less painful and she would feel a little bit less alone. And if this was the case and she was never that bought in on you, and then another guy expressed interest in her and reminded her that she has options, or she got a text message from one of her exes, like that might have been all that was needed to put the doubt in her mind about you. Now, here's how you know if this was true for you. Was the girl excited to hang out with you at the very beginning? Or did it kind of seem like she just agreed to hang out with you when you asked her, but she was never the one to text you first and ask you to hang out? Because that's a good sign that you were just a lukewarm option. The same way you might keep a girl around because it's convenient, that's probably what she was doing for you. Reason number 2, you used game. So I want you to imagine that you meet a girl who is smoking hot. She's your 10 out of 10. But then you realize that she was actually wearing like a pound of makeup on her face. Her face doesn't quite look the same. She was wearing like these slimming leggings that made her stomach look way smaller. And also a really intense push-up bra that made it look like she actually had some type of chest. Well, what do? Is she still a 10 out of 10 for you? Now, what you have to realize is that as men, we do this differently because we don't wear a bunch of makeup, hopefully. You're probably not wearing tight leggings to make yourself look slimmer, right? I mean, maybe you could like wear some football shoulder pads out to the date to make it look like you have bigger shoulders. No, we don't do that shit. Instead, we have this concept of game. And there's a huge danger when you try and use game. And the danger is that instead of using it to complement who you are and amplify your confidence, you use it to portray an inconsistent image to the girl, and it's not actually you. So for example, maybe you're trying to maintain masculine frame and the girl shows up 15 minutes late to the date. Well, it's a good thing to call her out on that and say, look, I'm not sure what was going on, but I've been waiting here the last 15 minutes. If we are to hang out again, that can't happen. Like, that does not change who you are, and regardless of your personality, it would be a smart idea to do that and set that boundary and actually have her respect you in your time. But a bad example would be if you're trying to portray this super hard alpha top G image to the girl and you're sitting there on the date talking about all these ambitious things that you're gonna do. I'm gonna start my own gym. I'm gonna be running all these different businesses in no time. All my friends look at me as the top dog in the group. Nah, I'm a G. I don't do any weak shit like that. Like, it's not sustainable to portray this image to the girl and pretend like you're never goofy and you never mess up at anything and you're always hard. But here's the tricky thing. This can actually be effective up front because women do tend to find these more masculine behaviors and traits attractive. But if you get a second date and then a third date and then you sleep with her and you start to see her for some weeks and some months, You're gonna get comfortable around her, you're gonna have some weak moments, and she's going to see through the facade. Like, you can't always pretend to be the super alpha, and the girl's going to notice this, and she's gonna notice this incongruence between who you're trying to be and who you actually are, and that just reeks of insecurity, and immediately it's gonna kill the attraction that she had for you at the beginning. And look, I'm not saying just to be a beta simp and let your guard down and be soft. What I'm saying is to actually start to embody strength in everything you do, not just to pretend to be strong when you're on a date. Actually have those ambitions in your career and take those risks and set those high goals for yourself. When you're talking to anyone, men or women, set boundaries when they do something that's not okay with you. And of course, when we mess up and we have our weak moments and our failures, accept that, because that's also part of who we are. This is a lot more sustainable than showing up to your first date pretending to be Andrew Tate.
Now, let's be real for a second. It's probably the biggest reason the girls are losing attraction for you or not even finding you that attractive in the first place is because you have not maximized your looks. And the easiest way to get started doing this is by leveling up your grooming routine, which is why I decided to partner with Manscaped to be the sponsor of today's video. So real quick, I want to show you these 3 tools from Manscaped that I use every single week. So first, I use the Lawnmower 5.0 body hair trimmer twice per week to trim the hair on my chest, abs, and my balls. It's going to reveal more muscle definition, make you look more jacked. It is better than any other brand because of the skin-safe technology that allows you to get a close trim every time without any nicks or ingrown hairs. Then you got the Weed Whacker 2.0. I use this once per week to trim those disgusting nose hairs. This thing just shreds through them. Nobody wants to see those. And last but not least, the Beard Hedger Pro. This is the secret of how I always keep my beard game on point. I use this every other day to trim my neck hairs. That keeps my jawline looking sharp. And then a couple times per week, I'm gonna throw the guard on and trim the overall beard length down to keep it under control. And because you're watching my video, you can use that coupon code right there to get 20% off plus free worldwide shipping. You can use that on any of these items or on the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. That has you covered with the body hair trimmer, the nose hair trimmer, and a bunch of extras for an insanely discounted price. Just click that first link down in the description to take your grooming game to the next level.
Reason 3, you became too predictable. So look, having a routine is good. I have a very strict daily routine that I stick to in terms of my morning habits and my workflow and my gym routine. Without that routine, it would be chaos and I would never achieve anything in my life. But when it comes to the romantic part of your relationship with your girl, there's got to be a little bit of chaos. You got to keep her on her toes. You got to keep her guessing. And this doesn't mean you got to build houses in different countries across the world like I have and move internationally every 6 to 18 months. But it does mean it shouldn't be Friday night's date night, and when it gets to 10:30 p.m., we're going to have our weekly sex session. So ready, here are 4 easy ways that you can change things up and keep your girl on her toes. Number 1. Have sex at different times. Sometimes when you guys get home from the gym, pick her up, throw her on the kitchen counter, and get down. Maybe first thing in the morning sometimes if you guys don't have anything on the schedule. The key is for you to pick her up, to start kissing her, and to initiate it. Number 2, experiment with different hobbies together. Like myself and Julia, when we were in Spain, we started playing paddle. We did that as a couple together, and that led to a whole lot of really fun, new, different experiences together. Number 3, last minute date nights. Maybe you don't have anything planned, but you just tell your girl, hey, be ready to leave the house at 7 p.m. I'm taking you to a really cool spot. That is a whole lot more exciting for a girl than knowing, well, at Friday at 8 p.m., we're going to the same Italian restaurant we go to every month. Number 4, plan a trip. If you tell your girl, guess what? Next month, I'm taking you to Europe. And if you can't swing Europe, maybe you tell her next weekend we're gonna go on a road trip together. The anticipation for the trip and the adventure itself, that is fucking romance, bro. And what's even more important than that is to actually start living your life this way and to give yourself random new challenges. Like I just bought this car washing kit with the pressure washer just because I thought it would be cool to do that. Maybe you wanna start experimenting with photography or videography or learn a martial art because you think it would be cool. Like this is the secret to keeping your girl chasing you even after years, because she's never gonna quite be able to put her finger on exactly who you are because you're constantly evolving and changing. Number 4, you lost interest. So maybe the girl that you were seeing, after a few dates or a few weeks or months, she stopped dressing as sexy for you. She wasn't wearing those feminine outfits anymore. Maybe she got comfortable with her diet and put on some extra pounds. Maybe she stopped putting any effort in the bedroom. And she was never in the mood. And when you guys did engage in the bedroom, she was just laying there like a dead fish. You're not gonna see this one coming. Maybe you were not even that attracted to her in the first place, and you just felt lonely, and she was a convenient option, so you didn't feel alone. Women have this funny tendency in relationships. When they notice their partner starting to withdraw a little bit, they also mimic that behavior and they withdraw as a self-defense mechanism, because this way they don't get as hurt when you decide to dump them, they've also been starting to move on. And the fucked up thing is that sometimes it actually works and it causes you to start chasing her, even though the whole reason this whole weird dynamic started is because you were losing interest in her. If that is your case, remind yourself, man, I wasn't even that attracted. I wasn't even that into her, bro. I should probably just end this relationship now instead of, mindlessly chasing this girl just because I'm afraid of loss now. Number 5, you got lazy. So with number 4, we said that if your girl was to put on some extra pounds and stopped dressing as feminine for you, that, well, obviously that's gonna make her less attractive to you. Well, bro, how do you think your girl would feel if you put on some extra pounds, or you stopped going to the gym as hard, or you started dressing like a lazy piece of shit, or you stopped putting in this effort to have this ambition to get to the next step with your business or your career? How is she gonna react? It's fucking obvious, bro. She's gonna lose attraction for you because no longer are you the man that she was chasing at the beginning of the relationship. And it might just be one of these things. It might just be your body, or maybe your body's still on points, but you no longer have that ambition. It's like you clickbaited her ass. And maybe you're thinking,
But David, shouldn't her love for me be enough and she should just stay around no matter what?
and that's a good point. But even if she was to stay around, if she was no longer lusting you and feeling that attraction for you, the relationship dynamic is gonna go to shit anyway. So you can live in fantasy land, or you can live in the real world. It's your choice at the end of the day. Now, if you're working hard to level up your dating life, then you need to watch this video next. It's about 5 sneaky ways that women test a man's confidence and how to pass these tests. If you don't know this, you're gonna continue to show women that you're low value without even realizing it. So click there to watch that now. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I release 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.